All right, so let's get started with the first set of modules here. You can bear with me here. Let me switch this over to you. Okay, move things. So capacity modulation, we're going to talk about four different types specifically, two-stage, variable, digital, and then we're going to talk about start over with that, Alex. Oh, man, my mind. Sorry, Alex. All right, let's start in with the capacity modulation. We're going to talk about four specific modulations. We're going to talk about two-stage. We're going to talk about variable. We're going to talk about digital. And then we're going to talk about multiples, tandems, and trios. All right. So let's walk through these here. So capacity control modulation methods, and we'll walk through each one of these. Two-stage, just a 30,000 foot view here at the beginning, is full capacity, obviously is 100%. It is like a fixed scroll, if you will. That will be your second stage at 100%, obviously. 67% or 65%, 2/3 of the capacity will be your first stage. And I'll show you how that works also. And then staying at the top to the right of that, we have variable speed, customized scroll with variable speed frequency drives. And we'll talk about the drives and how that works. And because that's the one that's really catching on a lot in the industry right now. And I foresee that being a big major player as it did with mini splits years ago. And then we have at the bottom left, we have digital, mostly seen in refrigeration, can be used in air conditioning too. I don't want to sell it short, but we'll talk about where that best fits at. It starts at 10% to 100%. So in other words, until it gets a call for 10% of the capacity, it does not turn on. All right. And then we have multiple tandems or trios. It's a step capacity, infinite capacity steps, fixed and digital. So you can have the two compressors. They don't have to be the same size. They don't even have to be the same model of the compressors. They can be different BTUs and different tonnage. So we'll walk through those. Now, this is just a snapshot of the compressor modulation technology comparisons. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because this is more salesy marketing. I do show this in class, but it's just really to give technicians an idea if they're quoting equipment, what that might look like to them. All right. So we have our fixed scroll. We talked about that a little while ago, just basically the anatomy pieces of it. We have the modulation technology on the top left, and then we have our products, the range, what horsepower they come to, the part load efficiency, full load efficiency, and then what does that look like with comfort? And then we have our applied cost. So again, we start out with fixed. We then have two-stage. We have digital from 10 to 100%, variable speed, and multiples. Now, none of these compressors, with the exception of variable, have a pump for lubrication inside them. All right. So that's unique to that. If you're teaching scrolls, at least the Emerson scrolls, we do our lubrication basically by physics. We manipulate the shaft and different things in there and apply that lubrication up through that shaft by simply just ramping up that 3,500 RPMs that a fixed scroll has. All right. Only exception to that will be our variable speed. It does have a pump in it. You can see where variable speed shines on a partial load. It's at its best. Okay, it's the highest of everything. At full load capacity, it's medium, doesn't do as well. And then for comfort, obviously it's off the charts. The next one that I really think is a great technology, especially in refrigeration and air conditioning, that's catching on quite quickly is the digital. We unload and load that compressor. We don't shut it off necessarily. And I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a little bit. All right, let's start with the two-stage, excuse me. Two-stage modulation by mechanically unloading the compressor operates at 67% and 100%, and it utilizes a three-way solenoid valve to pressurize a lift ring chamber and high part load efficiency with minimal full load efficiency losses. It offers improved temperature and humidity control. Our ranges, Emerson that is from 2 to 10 horsepower range, and it's ideal for 14 and above SEER residential, light commercial, split, and package applications. I happen to have one here. I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, but if you can see that or not, I might get my light on that. See if I can get my light on this and see if you can see the holes in there. There they are. See my flashlight through the scroll? Those little holes on both sides of the scroll set are what bleeds the gas through there when that shifts. I think of it as like a clutch. It shifts off there. This is actually the top of that scroll. See this wired in there. Okay. Talk a little bit more about that. So basically what it's doing is it's shifting that module, if you will, and it's blocking those ports. Now you can see here by the graph here, you can see that it's opened. All right. It's blocked off now. Opened. Blocked off now. There's full capacity. And then we got partial capacity. You can see how it's bleeding it out. All right. Copeland scroll two-stage modulation operation. Intermediate cavity pressure communicated to a lift chamber via a three-way valve. Valve de-energized in the top graphics. The modulation ring moves up, opening the bypass ports. All right. You can see over here, here's our bypass ports. This is a partial load or 67 or 2/3 capacity. All right. This is full load, and all we're doing is shifting that ring and blocking those ports. Suction pressure communicated to lift chamber via a three-way valve. Here we're fully loaded. Modulating ring moves down, sealing the bypass. You can see that ring slips, that module ring slips and allows that gas to bypass that, doesn't block it. It bleeds out of there. And Okay, Alex, I'm going to start again where this 2-stage, see where I'm at. All right. So, all right, the first thing we're going to talk about is our 2-stage. And again, we're talking about 67, 65%. And the reason I say 67, 65, on some videos that Emerson's made, it will say 67%. Some presentations I've seen will say 65%. Neither one of them's wrong. Just remember this, first stage on a 2-stage compressor, at least when we talk about it, is going to be about 2/3 capacity. So the 100% is like a fixed capacity. Partial capacity or first stage is going to be about 2/3 of 100%. All right. So Copeland scroll 2-stage, you can see how this is working. It's a module, if you will. It's a mechanically unloading compressor, operates at 67% to 100%. It utilizes a 3-way solenoid valve to pressurize the lift ring. In fact, I'm going to show you, this is part of that ring I was talking about at the very top. And I don't know if you can see this or not. I'll do this again. I attempted this earlier and it seemed to be okay. You can't really tell, but there's 3 little holes in this, the top of the fixed scroll. There you go. You can see my light coming through there. There's 3 little bleeder holes on both sides. And they're in the medium area of that fixed scroll. See my flashlight shining through there? 2 little bleeder holes. So when those, at the very top, you can see it. When those get blocked off, it doesn't allow that refrigerant to come out, all right, when it slips out. that module. So it's AC to DC, and it causes it to turn and bleeds off. Now in this animation, you can see now we're powered, we're shutting it off, we're running 100% capacity, all right? Unloaded, shutting off, okay? Now, high part load efficiency with minimal full load efficiency losses offers improved temperature and humidity control and 2 to 10 horsepower range. Ideal for 14 and above SEER, residential and light commercial split and package systems. See a lot of two-stage out there in residential and light commercial. And for the most part, I haven't been gone all that long in the field. Two-stage is, I mean, most of the technicians are fairly familiar with it. Do they know how to troubleshoot it? That might be a different story. I don't know, but they understand the concept of it. Now, the Copeland Scroll two-stage modulation operation, at the very top, I'll start up here. Again, you're powered up, all right? Now we're blocked off, we're at 100%, or here we're at partial. We energized, blocking it off. Now we're at full capacity. Here we're at 67%. You can see it's bleeding off. Over here on the right, partial load operation, intermediate cavity, pressure communicated to a lift chamber via a three-way valve. Valve is de-energized when we go into that first stage, as we talked about earlier. Okay, you can see that lifting up, that lift ring, that three-way, lifts it up, and those bleed ports that I showed you earlier in that medium cavity, okay, here's the low, medium, and high pressure cavities, will bleed out from both sides, all right? Modulation ring moves up, opening the bypass. At the bottom, you'll see it's a full load operation, suction pressure communicated to the lift chamber. The valve is energized now at full capacity, all right? The valve is energized at 100% or a fixed capacity, all right? You can see the bleed ports down here at the bottom on the left, partial load. When it shifts, those open up. You can see at full load, those ports, if you will, are blocked off. Here's our module. Okay. Let's see if we can get this video to play. Oops. Oh, great. Oh boy. My mom told me there'd be days like this.